Let's just dive right in. Did you know that over 60% of the world's wealth is managed by computer code that most developers today have, well, they've never even seen it? We're talking about a quiet, creeping crisis happening inside the world's biggest banks, insurance companies, and airlines. It's all about this legacy code, and here's the kicker. The brilliant people who wrote it are retiring. This isn't just a tech problem, it's a trillion-dollar demographic time bomb. So what's with this number 70%? That's the percentage of IBM's biggest customers, the big power systems users, who aren't just buying off-the-shelf software. No, they're running their entire business on custom-built, battle-hardened applications that have been their secret sauce for decades. And that, right there, introduces a very unique kind of risk.
And yeah, these systems are overwhelmingly written in languages like COBOL and RPG. You might hear those names and think dinosaur, but these are the unseen engines of our global economy. They are incredibly fast, unbelievably reliable, and process trillions, with a T, of dollars in transactions every single day. The problem was never the code. It's that the people who speak its language are vanishing.
And that brings us right to the heart of the matter. The engineers who built and maintained these systems for 40, maybe 50 years, they're retiring, and they're taking decades of priceless institutional knowledge with them. This isn't just a skills gap we're talking about, it's a chasm.
And look, don't just take my word for it. This is a direct quote from Steve Will, the CTO for IBM. He says it himself. The community has been desperately waiting for something, anything, to bridge this gap between the legacy world and the next generation of developers.
So for any CIO out there, this creates a totally impossible choice. Option 1, a full system rewrite. We're talking about a $100 million gamble that, let's be honest, often fails spectacularly. You're trying to rebuild decades of complex business logic from scratch. Or option 2, do nothing. Just, hope for the best. And watch as your most critical asset slowly decays, opens up security holes, and becomes an anchor holding back any kind of innovation. It's the classic rock in a hard place, a true no-win scenario. But what if there was another way? A way to actually modernize without taking on the catastrophic risk of a full rip and replace. And this is where IBM's new solution comes into play. They're not just calling it a new tool, they're framing it as a full-on rescue mission for this trillion-dollar code crisis. And here's a quick, brutally honest side note on the name. Bob was actually already taken by an IBM open source build tool. They had to rename that original project to Toby just to free up the name for this AI project. That alone should tell you how critical this is for them. So what is Project Bob, really? It's an AI-first development environment. But you need to think way beyond simple autocomplete. This is more like a partner, a co-developer that understands your intent, the context of your entire code base, and all your company's security rules from the get-go. And this isn't just theory or some marketing slide. IBM turned Bob loose on its own developers first. Over 6,000 of them are using it right now. And get this, they're reporting an average productivity gain of 45%. That is an absolutely staggering number that you just can't ignore. So you're probably asking, how on earth do you get a 45% productivity gain? Well, it's not about typing code faster. It's about completely changing how developers interact with the system in the first place. And this is where a concept called literate programming has its breakthrough moment. Just look at this. This isn't code, it isn't pseudocode, it's a simple, human-readable sentence, an instruction. This is the core idea. You describe the what you want and the why you want it in plain English, almost like you're writing documentation or a task for a teammate. Bob then takes that plain English intent, scans the entire repository for context, and generates all the necessary code, plus the test to go with it. The developer's job fundamentally shifts. You're no longer a syntax expert, you're a business logic reviewer. This is how you bridge that massive skills gap. You manage the whole program in English, and Bob handles the nitty-gritty legacy code in the background. You might never have to touch a line of raw COBOL if you don't want to. Okay, this brings us to the most important part for any CIO or architect. This is the core strategic advantage. The goal is not to throw away your stable, reliable, time-tested mainframe core. The goal is to manage it like a modern cloud-native application. Let's look at a real-world example IBM showed off. They took a Java application and modernized it from version 17 to 21. A project like this can easily take a team weeks, even months. Bob did it in 3 minutes. for less than $1 in compute costs. That's not just an improvement, that's a complete game changer. And we're not just talking about simple version upgrades. We're talking about the big, hairy, expensive tasks that give IT leaders nightmares. Things like converting a giant monolithic application into modern microservices, or migrating from one framework to another, all while understanding the full context of the system. Now I know what every enterprise leader is thinking right now. This is powerful, maybe a little too powerful. Is it safe? Is it secure? Can I control it? This is where governance becomes absolutely critical. The good news is Bob is not a black box. It was built from the ground up with what IBM calls enterprise-grade guardrails. There's a whole observability layer so you can see exactly what the AI is doing. It has built-in expertise for compliance standards like HIPAA and PCI. It scans for security vulnerabilities while you work. And, maybe most importantly, you can run it on-premise, keeping your precious code right inside your own walls. And this all rolls up into a much larger strategy. Through a partnership with Anthropic, IBM is pushing a whole methodology called the Agent Development Lifecycle, or ADLC. The goal is to make AI agents predictable, governable, and auditable. It's about industrializing AI for the enterprise, not just playing with cool new toys. So we end with this question, and it's a big one. For decades, legacy systems have been seen as a liability, a huge pile of technical debt that holds the business back. But what if that's wrong? With tools that let you safely modernize, manage, and innovate on top of that incredibly stable core, could that old liability actually become your greatest, most defensible competitive advantage?